Harvest Union, Black Dot, what up? Calling out, what up? KTS, what up? CMP, what up? Hench, what up? Yo, Griff, what up? While some walk like Egyptians, I think as a magician. They think knowledge is book right, I channel like a Cushite. I rep Canaanland, and I'm not the leper. Hold it up as indigenous without the feathers. Moorish treaty and friendships endless. I send this as a challenge to the gangs acting senseless. We are stronger when united, we'll last longer and defend our rights when the law arm is on you. With illegal contracts and color of law, they harm you and roll you from your rights with the legal lawyers, judges. They got fezzes and gowns as us. We gave 33 degrees to the pale nations, and they use that for the earthly salvation. Spirit beings caught in the religion get the mind erasing. Looking back and turn to dust, you're missing the beast. I take heads and only bodies left under sheets. Truth is my weapon against faith and belief. Not through violence will my victory be reached. Fruition master, my son without the apron. Break fast with fruits, no sausage and bacon. How long will you keep taking the mind raping? Know thyself, you're maroon, not Jamaican. They use words, man, to civilly kill. To have melanin beings lusting these paper bills, losing their soul and gaining the world. BET got us losing our boys and selling our girls. Pimp the system if they're pimping. These niggas are chimping, thinking that they're cool cause they limping. Man, I don't need a gun to make me run. All I have to do is freedom. I'm not begging a crumb, Lateral lump sum. Fiat value is none, watch me free. Yeah. IHF, what up? CMP, what up? Masons think they add up, but they tack down tassels. Watch me send you rope to Albion and a lasso. Caucasoid hybrid, sun burns the islands to the human fam. We created a virus, some help to build, but most destroy our future through melanin girls and melanin boys. Fast food, television, miseducation. Mr. History stole the rights from our nation. National appellation, not in all capitals. Tribes of nobles and noblesse with robes and crests. Fezzes and sashes, shawls and vests. On Ashkenazi Jews, I put an alpha hex, omega the rest. Without a bloody mess, left dead in some Nikes like David Koresh. Burn out your temple with myrrh and frankincense. To work a ritual, it's all about intent and invent. Melanin, the magic dust, trust me. I share to all the Putin while all the Orishas love me, trust me. Black candles, we got red ones too. When lit, would I be fake? This is deja vu. With no Denzel, cause Washington won the Grammy. He doesn't even know Washington is his granny. Could've sniped Wesley, but went for tax evasion. Moors and cards, facing these judge masons. Give back your rituals and your Babylon ways. Give back your holy books, call me rebellious slave. Give back your story, there's Moorish truth in mine. Give back your crucifix, hanging tree boots and swine. Give back your rituals and your Babylon ways. Give back your holy books, call me rebellious slave. Give back your story, there's Moorish truth in mine. Give back your crucifix, hanging tree boots and swine. Coming to you from the blackness in peyote teepees. Not the head rush from ice or sucking freezies. You could choose to research, don't believe me. Key of life songs cause inner visions and wonders like Stevie. Walk through the world under. Your mind feels like tundra soil. Hit you like Shango when my blood's on boil. Come as Allah or Batala. With one eye for sight, I can see from afar. Mermaids and mermen cry for tadpoles and jaws. Trying to get the serious, they call it mission to Mars. To get you not looking, distract attention. Not to mention, but they have your brains in a lasso. And your pineal gland tattooed. With designs calcified, my height is amplified. To levels so deep, my flow is amphibious style. Leaving clansmen bloody in a hideous pile. Not like King Leonidas and Spartan saying 300. Took out a legion of raw, you must be frontin'. Like European pharaohs before the 18th dynasty. Coming and killing me and saying they're nasty. One golden firewall so you can't catch me. Have to jack your beat cause the shit's catchy. Sometimes a fake proves my face screw like little Scrappy. And at the piggies with the scanners trying to speed trap me. Cause I'm repping blue bloods wanna cap me. I told you, boys in blue thinking I'm a Crip soldier. Give back your rituals and your Babylon ways. Give back your holy books, call me rebellious slave. Give back your story, there's Moorish truth in mine. Give back your crucifix, hanging street boots and swine. Give back your rituals and your Babylon ways. Give back your holy books, call me rebellious slave. Give back history, there's Moorish truth in mine. Give back your crucifix, hanging street boots and swine. On the real. Fake boys know the deal. Yo, Red Kid, what up? That's how we do it. Give back the rituals and your Babylon ways. Call me rebellious slave. Serious? Nah, you're not serious, man. No, for real. For real? Serious. I ain't shit. Sentenced to death or learn in this body tomb. Fallen angel manifested in flesh through the womb. Must make my way back, can't just lay back. Caught up in this world, chasing some stray cat. Know thyself is my purpose and discipline. Showing the youth they're not at risk, no need for riddling. Those lost in the church, no need for middlemen. For those smoking reefer, no need for giggling. Playtime is over, Syrian beings looking with eyes when eyes does all of the seeing. I heard first things first, man, you're fucking with the worst. They take the soul needle in your head by the Nazi nurse. Extracted for Bill Gates, pills of melatonin. No beef pioneers for the elite, I know them. High maintenance children of humanity. Cares not for the world of balance and duality. Man-made laws, they push on the public. The master teacher said my brass skin, it's rusted. That was Marcus Garvey as the wind gusted. Popo plant drugs and guns together busted. Seeing inside the warehouse of the wards. Controlled by the warden and KKK guards. Overseeing the shadow stock and box lock. Inside won't seem the cop that got Sean Bell shot. Incarceration is not serving as rehab. Come off a 10-year bid, your people like he's mad. No more heroin, it's crack now. No 6-shooter chromes, gats are black now. It's MP3, they dead the CD with technology. They got cameras in your TV. 12-year-olds got adult breasts and ass. Cause the steroids is transferred to them from the calves. Oranges got no seeds, they kill no disease. They prescribe pills, say come back in weeks. Klansmen stepped up from suits, left the sheets. To kill Moors or make them do dead time for weeks. Stakes are high, live or die. Get shot on the TTC or crash the ride. Let go of this vesture, leave the husk. When I astral project, it's leaves and dust. Stakes are high, live or die. Get shot on the TTC or crash your ride. Let go of this vesture, leave the husk. When I astral project, it's leaves and dust. I ain't sheep. When I speak, you can't talk unless spoken to. Most sound like records, broken too, with no facts. Trust me, I'm not quoting you. Melanin beings do what they're not supposed to. Going against the biological makeup. Instead of shooting sun rays, guns they take up to go against tanks and carriers of aircraft. When I use air, the beast says no witchcraft. When I use fire, speak truth and shut up a liar. If I use earth, I'm calling on fam from the hollow core. When I use water, flow like a tsunami on y'all. Martin Luther told y'all non-violence. He was a warlock, Rosicrucian, candle magic and silence. Been on this continent, living in minus degrees and temp. In the plus is where my mind is. Open up your mind, iris. I said it's ISIS. Her son here room is who the Christ is. Light of the world, watch me enlighten a nerd. In your stomach like the center, I frighten your turds. Give you the runs, cutting your blurs with tones and words. Caucus skyscrapers are killing the birds. I'm giving you nerves and not goosebumps. Tingle your spine. You're listening to Iron Sheik and thinking it's prime. The Absolute oils got me not stinking a dime. Can't check enough peeps house, man, it's stinking a swine. Many sell out for a deal and sign with ink on the line. Incarcerating your speech for fiat, cars and yachts. Drinking devil's liquids, Henny and yacht. Rappers turn convicts, goddess turn bomb chicks. Niggas yelling fuck the police is nonsense. They got guns by the box and run your streets. Widow your so-called whore after they clap at your throat. Parole not, when caught, the gat didn't blow. I heard stories about men putting cock in a bra in the showers, or get guards to leave the watchtowers while the gang rape you in a bed of dead flowers. Thousands of brothers, they wore those briefs. Can't think how much semen is on those sheets. Most need to go in strong, not weak. Like my babe brothers, LeBron and Shakur Malik. It's not cool living in the jail cell. Rappers and MCs are liars and the truth they don't tell. Agents using examples of Larry Davis to have youth shooting out with pigs from the basement to get caught and then become a killer replacement. Cops crooked like the eyebrow, plus they lie too. Seeing is believing, believing is fake. They say fuck fruition and have blind faith. They take your collection, won't give it to God. They take your perception and they give it to far. Seeing is believing, believing is fake. They say fuck fruition and have blind faith. They take your collection, won't give it to God. They take your perception and they give it to far. Islam to all the Moors, peace and love. We're out here once again. It's good to be back. Canaanland Moors. Tuesday night session. We got some stuff to go through today. We got some revisits to go through today. And a little bit of everything, you already know. So we have to rep tonight because you already know. You already know. It's ring night tonight. So we the Northwest of Mexham. Don't get it effed up. We already proved what's up. We don't need anybody right now. We're good. Peace and love, more. I know Yusuf been waiting.
Yo, been waiting. Lil Yusuf been on me. Lil Yusuf doing class.
Lil Yusuf says, "When's class, Daddy?"
When's class, Daddy? He been asking me for like the last 4 days. Dad, you doing class today? You doing class today?
It's not over. Islam to all the Moors worldwide, in the chat and anywhere else that you're at. Before we start up, we gotta give our honors to the Prophet, give our honors to Allah, to all the Moors everywhere, give honors to anybody who knows that they're Moors. FOH to all you, we're not Moors and all that, and we don't need a nationality. All right, whatever. So we'll start off with Walter E. Williams, black guys, scholar guys, they already know who he is. Just look him up, Walter E. Williams. And he had an article called Democracy versus Liberty. Interesting article. Interesting article. This is what the black guys know, at least the scholars, because you already know Dr. Ben had a law degree and Walter E. Williams deals with law, but then the black guys and the Indians and whoever else, they don't want to deal with law, they want to deal with emotionalism and all that stuff. Democracy versus liberty. It is truly disgusting for me to hear politicians, national and international, talking heads, and pseudo-academics praising the Middle East stirrings as democracy movements. We also hear democracy as the description of our own political system. Like the founders of our nation, I find democracy and majority rule a contemptible form of government. You say, whoa, Williams, you really have to explain yourself this time. I'll begin by quoting our founders on democracy. James Madison, in Federalist Paper number 10, said that in a pure democracy, there is nothing to check the inducement to sacrifice the weaker party or the obnoxious individual. In a democracy, there is nothing to check the inducement to sacrifice the weaker party or the obnoxious individual. At the 1787 Constitutional Convention, Virginia Governor Edmund Randolph said that in tracing these evils to their origin, every man had found it in the turbulence and follies of democracy. Remember, this black guy talking. John Adams said, remember, democracy never lasts long. It soon wastes, exhausts, and murders itself. There was never a democracy yet that did not commit suicide. John Adams said, John Adams is there, guys. John Adams said, remember, democracy never lasts long. It soon wastes, exhausts, and murders itself. There was never a democracy yet that did not commit suicide. Alexander Hamilton said, we are now forming a republican form of government. Real liberty is not found in the extremes of democracy, but in moderate governments. If we incline too much to democracy, we shall soon shoot into a monarchy or some other form of dictatorship. The word democracy appears nowhere in the two most fundamental documents of our nation, the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. Our Constitution's Article 4, Section 4 guarantees to every state in this union a republican form of government. If you don't want to bother reading our founding documents, just ask yourself, does your Pledge of Allegiance to the flag say to the democracy for which it stands or to the republic for which it stands? Or did Julia Ward Howe make a mistake in titling her civil song the Battle Hymn of the Republic? Should she have titled it the Battle Hymn of the Democracy? What's the difference between Republican and Democratic forms of government? John Adams captured the essence when he said, you have rights antecedent to all earthly governments, rights that cannot be repealed or restrained by human laws, rights derived from the great legislator of the universe. That means Congress does not grant us rights. Their job is to protect our natural or God-given rights. For example, the Constitution's First Amendment doesn't say Congress shall grant us freedom of speech, the press, and religion. It says Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. Contrast the farmer's vision of a republic with that of a democracy. Webster defines the democracy as government by the people, especially rule of the majority. In a democracy, the majority rules, either directly or through its elective representatives. As in a monarchy, the law is whatever the government determines it to be. Laws do not represent reason, they represent force. The restraint is upon the individual instead of the government. Unlike that envisioned under a republican form of government, rights are seen as privileges, and permissions that are granted by government can be rescinded by government. To highlight the offensiveness to liberty that democracy and majority rule is, just ask yourself, how many decisions in your life would you like to be made democratically? How about what car you drive, where you live, whom you marry, whether you have turkey or ham on Thanksgiving dinner? If those decisions were made through a democratic process, the average person would see it as tyranny and not personal liberty. It is no less tyranny for the democratic process to determine whether you purchase health insurance or set aside money for retirement. Both for ourselves and our fellow man around the globe, we should be advocating liberty, not democracy, that we've become where a roguish Congress does anything upon which they can muster a majority vote. It's the black guy's boy, Walter E. Williams, letting them know. Letting them know. They hearing what he's saying? Obviously not, when we look at what's going on out here with our people. Obviously not. There's a lot more. You have anything to add?
I was just amazed how our people participating in democracy, platform that they put up. Knowing what you just read, and like you said, with the Pledge of Allegiance, they don't say to the democracy, they say it's a real republic. And that's just crazy how they still play this game of, sitting in these positions, but it's all under democracy, which is fraud. That's all fraud. That's why Moors go in so hard on the United States as a corporation and all of that, because they're not even doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're not even playing their part of their quote-unquote contract or whatever, which is to be a republic. They're not even doing it. They're not even doing it. They're outside of what they're supposed to be in. They're not upholding the Constitution, the de jure one. They play in democracy, but it's people that look like us that are participating in these arenas. That's the stuff that's bugging me out. Like, I'm like, man, but we the ones that still try to play like, I'm the city ward of such and such and all of that. Yeah. But all of that's democracy.
All of that is democracy. And then don't forget the military manual that tells you democracy is mob rule.
Yep.
And when you look around, that's what you see right now, mob ruling. A bunch of highwaymen jump on somebody, beat their ass, that's mob rule.
Yep.
A bunch of banks come together and buy you out of your house or whatever that you were supposed to get from your grandma and all that stuff, that's mob rule. Gentrification, that's mob rule.
Yep.
The majority at the top, the majority at the top, they have all the finance and everybody else has to eat roach cereal. That's mob rule. Go ahead, more. All right. We're going to take you back.
The tyranny, though.
No, go ahead.
When, the part where he was saying, the car you drive and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, if they would decide on that, we would start looking at it as tyranny. And then I'm like, well, that's what's going on.
Doing that already.
You know what I mean? With the license and whatever, like that's tyranny.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have this right here, you can't use the car. That's tyranny. What do you mean? That's democracy. That's mob rule. That's tyranny. Like as soon as he said, well, what if that, like basically he's saying, like, what if that happens? It's happening. it's happening. It's happening. Or could you decide whether to eat turkey or ham on Thanksgiving? And I'm like, wow, they're going to start making those decisions for us in a minute. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. They're going to end up controlling, what you decide to eat.
Yeah.
Which is basically already happening.
Yeah, because remember, they're already telling certain people they can't even fetch rainwater and stuff like that. So it's already going down.
Here, where I'm at, if you collect rainwater, you're going to get a fine. You can't collect rainwater. That's a fine. You can't cook. I know that for a fact. You can't burn wood. I remember buying wood at Home Depot. We're supposed to be, me and my son and his friends supposed to be having burning marshmallows in the backyard. The lady when I'm buying the wood, the cashier, she's gonna tell me, you know, it's illegal in Massachusetts to burn wood. I was like, what? Like to have a fire outside. She's telling me this. I'm like, what? I didn't even know. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like you can't, because they don't want you to burn your trash, because you gotta pay to get your trash.
Pay for that. And then throw out your own garbage. But you could wipe.
You pay for trash.
But and if you don't wipe your dog's ass, you get fined for that.
Yo, tyranny. Yo, if you don't separate your trash from the recycling, and they see trash in the recycling bin or whatever, they'll put a big old sticker on your trash can and leave your trash there. Like, we're not picking it up. They'll stay like this till next week. What are you supposed to do? Like, now it's like, be wary of what you're throwing out.
Yeah.
Because you got to pay for each trash can. There's no more of those little black trash barrels you just pull to the front. You have to use this Green City trash barrel that they give you, but you got to pay for it. That's the tyranny. They control your trash.
No, what's the difference? What's the difference between that and Moor telling you that you can't be a Moor unless you go to temple? You don't think that's tyranny? Moor telling you can't wear what color fez you got on.
Yeah, that's a perfect question.
You don't think that's tyranny? Moor trying to sell you your birthright. That's supposed to be free. You don't think that's tyranny? The same stuff going on. It's the same stuff going on every level. It's going on.
Yep.
The same stuff going on every level. And again, criminals get away with criminality because good people just sit back and play like they don't see anything. Play that they don't see stuff. When they should be the first, especially Moors, should be the first ones to jump up and say something. This is why, again, we always give honors to the validated Moors, the Moors who've been putting in work. Right? Black's Law Dictionary, page 19, abjure, abjure, to renounce or abandon by or upon oath. See abjuration, a renunciation or abandonment by or upon oath, a departure from the state without the intention of returning, and not a renunciation of one's country upon an oath or perpetual banishment as the term originally implied. We're going to take you back to 2013 with one of the validated Moors, Grand Sheikh Jabbar Gaines L., who you already know, we already put out. If you didn't hear or you didn't know, go look up Sovereigns in Black and go read the article that SPLC tried to put out on him, tried to slander him. But this is the official Moorish abjuration of surrender of Moorish civilization of 1492. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful, to all persons whom these presents may come or be made known. This document bearing the date of the 2nd day of January, 2013, is exactly 521 years to the very day that ended 800 years of Moorish suzerainty on the Iberian Peninsula. It was upon this very day that Muhammad XII ceded the last true governing construct of Moorish civilization to European Christians, collectively viewed as Romans, represented by the joint monarchy of Isabella and Ferdinand. This union being solely responsible for the executing of the papal decree of launching the most devastating portion of the Inquisition leveled against the Moors. But let it be known upon this very day that the Moors who were yet unborn during that most dreadful hour hereby officially retract the surrender of Muhammad XII. Let it be further known that Moorish civilization has indeed resurrected in America and throughout the world. It is indeed a new era of time, and the progeny of the true Moors, who were falsely classified as Moriscos, Negroes, and Blacks, have now redeemed their nationality and civilization to the nations of the world. The Moors' retraction of the surrender of 1492 is a rededication to our culture and civilization. We do not advocate violence on any level. We promote the ancient principles of our forefathers, advocating love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice for the entire family. In conclusion, Moorish civilization has been reborn. And as this was in the year 711 AD, so shall it be in 2013 and beyond, with the Moors leading humanity with the eternal torchlight of love, creating that long-awaited heaven on earth. Sincerely, Grand Sheikh Jabbar C. Gaines L., in dedication to all fallen Moors. This is what Moors were doing, looking out for other Moors. Moors that we studied from, Moors who put us onto Moorish science, they didn't play this as a temple thing only. They always looked out for Moors across the globe. They looked out for Moors across the globe. Why? Because in unity there's strength. And this one Moor speaking up with an official Moorish abjuration of surrender of Moorish civilization of 1492, 521 years to the day of when they claim they conquered the Moors, is monumental as far as the spirit world is concerned. Because as we know, no Moors out there are telling you about the official Moorish abjuration. Zero, especially the Moors in the temple. How come they're not bringing this up? How come they're not presenting this to the people? Why are they not presenting this to the people? Why are they trying to make you think that Moors are supposed to just yield and not correct the errors of the past? Moors are just supposed to go with the democracy. Moors are just supposed to, go down to City Hall and go stand at the podium with the mayor and get proclamations from the mayor and the Moorish American Week and all this BS. With these same Romans, who we know that these same Romans who are in the seat right now, again, just put it out there. It was put together very good by our good brother, Abdullah El Talib Mosi Bey, Moors and Masonry, that they took your seat. Took your seat, took all your titles, took your fez, and now they're posing with your stuff. When we're out here, we're not even playing black anymore. Now we're playing Indians. Now we're playing all this other stuff that we shouldn't be playing. But they're not going to tell you that they were Fezzes up for real. Not going to tell you they were Fezzes up for real. I'll tell you that after they took down the sign, the Moorish Science Temple of America sign in Detroit, and pull up the Temple of Islam sign, they're not going to make it known to you that even though the sign said Temple of Islam, they were still fezzes up. But they had to pacify the people. They had to pacify the people.
It was like they were stripping their birthright from them slowly.
Slowly. The slow stripping of your birthright. You know that story about put the pot in the cold water and then let the water boil or whatever like that? Don't put them in the hot water. Boil them slow.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's how they did with your birthright. Boil you slow. Boil you slow to the point where you don't even know what's going on right now. New York Community Trust. Landmarks of New York. Central Synagogue. This is the oldest synagogue building in continuous use in New York City. The congregation was established in 1839, and this temple, designed by Henry Fernbach, was completed in 1872. The style is Moorish Revival, the arrangement Gothic. How come the synagogue people got your birthright so locked down? They built their synagogue in Moorish Revival. And they got a plaque on the building to show. Donated by the New York Community Trust. New York Community Trust. See how these people use trust? How Moors use trust? Moors want to use trust to try to save some shoes that they got. Moors put their car in the trust. These people put their synagogue in the trust. How you put the synagogue in the trust? Put a plaque that's on a wall from the 1800s in a trust, and Moors are so limited in their mindset. All they want to do is put their little whatever that they got called property in trust.
So I'm going to shoot. Quick
Islam,
question with that. Did you say they did it as a community? They put it in a trust?
Yeah, the New York Community Trust. In 1957, erected this plaque that's on the Central Synagogue in New York. That was, the synagogue wasn't created in Hebraic or Judaic or whatever Ashkenazi style. Moorish Revival style is how they built their synagogue. Moorish Revival style, they built their synagogue. And you want to know, nobody recognizes the Moors. We're not Moors. Okay, you don't want to be a Moor? Fine. A synagogue would be a Moor, since you want to be a dumbass. A synagogue would gladly be a Moor. Gladly. But you know, it is what it is. And ain't nothing for us to do. We know that we're Moors. People could do whatever the hell you want, as far as I'm concerned. You could do whatever you want. Right, we already put this one out there, but just to put it out again, even Heavy Duty knew what was up. And the boys knew too. And they got the kente cloth or whatever like that. But they got fezzes on. And you are playing around like you don't want to know what's up.
Yeah.
These aren't kufis that they got on. They got fezzes on. And what do they call this? What do they call this single? We got our own thing. We got our own thing, and then they got fezzes on, and they didn't get the message? Okay. You keep not getting the message. You will. You will. Better hope it's not too late. Northern Uganda, fezzes up. Northern Uganda. Yep, they're the north too. Fezzes up. The black guys say they rep this place, right? They rep some quote unquote Africa. But they got Fezzes up in Africa. Black guy, conscious, African, whatever.
Yeah.
You think?
To add on, do you know?
Yeah, go ahead, more. Go ahead, more. I'll just show
to
these.
add on too, with it's so much stuff they know. They know we Moorish, man. See, if they go see the movie Magnificent. I mean, I know Supreme Bay. Supreme on his channel put a little clip of it of the movie Magnificent.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to take Lil Yusuf to go see it. The whole movie is about the Moors. Like literally, they say it. They say the Moors the whole time. It's about I think the Odin kingdom and the Moorish kingdom joining together. That's what they were trying to do. And Angelina Jolie, Angelina Jolie says she's of Iroquois descent. She's playing the empress of the Moors. And then the whole time, a Moor comes from the heavens. I don't want to ruin the movie.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, they know that we're Moors. The whole time is about the Moors. The whole thing is about the Moors. And how, it's real crazy, man. Like, the stuff they like, in real life, like, the symbolism they would show, like, a lot of the stuff, the Moors, like, the Moors are doing the genuine thing. It's just that this Odin, quote unquote, European empire is doing a lot of mischief and lying to make the Moors look like they're really bad guys. But it's not. That's not the truth. It's not the truth at all. like that whole movie. They know that we're Moors, though. That whole movie, amazing. The symbology, actually, it's, oh my goodness, the Magnificent. She's even telling them, like, the kingdom that Odin is in, the castle they're in. She's like letting them know that all this stuff y'all got in here, y'all stole from the Moors. Straight up, like, tells them that. Yeah, stole it from the Moors. Like, and I'm like, yo, this is the whole movie. They just saying it. Like, my son and his cousin were both in there amazed, like, making noise. As soon as they said the Moors, they was like, oh. Like, but it just started going on and on and on. It's the whole movie. The whole movie. They don't even hide it. The whole movie is the Moors.
They go off.
They go off. The Moors are the ones with the magic. The whole thing is the magic. Like, they showing you, y'all was the ones. Y'all the ones. They showed everything, man. When that Moor came out of the heavens, they, like, zoomed in on his hand to let you know that he's dark skinned. They zoomed in on the locks, like, with the wind blowing in the locks. They zoomed in on all of that, like, letting you know this is the Moor. Letting you know, I was like, yo, they tripping right now.
Tripping.
But they going hard. Everybody knows who Moor.
Yep.
Everybody knows who Moor.
Everybody knows.
Except for Moors.
Except for Moors. And then Amor said in the chat that in the Disney Australian version, they put Queen of the Moors in the title.
Yeah, look at that.
Right?
Look at that.
They won't pull that stuff in North America because they already know that these Negroes over here, shit, good luck with making any sense to them because they're so lost. Good luck. You think people don't know who the Moors are? We're sitting back playing around like Africans don't know. People over there know. They know very well.
Oh, absolutely.
They know very well. But remember, they get citizenship. So don't think they're coming over here to talk to you Negroes and blacks and African Americans and African Canadians. They're not coming over here to talk to you about this stuff right here. They are not going to tell you about this. That when they go, wherever they go in the continent, that it's fezzes up for all the males. Yeah, for real. It's a great day to be a Moor. Praise Allah for bringing us this prophet to let us know what's up. Praise Allah. King of Eastern Uganda. You got the cone fez. Cone fez with the cowrie shells. Think he's not repping some mother? He's repping some mother. Right. Not just the north, but also southern Uganda. They got the tall fez. You think people over there don't know what's up? It's only our people over here playing around. Like they don't know. Only our people over here. I'm trying to tell you. But nah. You want to hear what we're saying. You hear everybody else. You're not hearing what we're saying. Got the tall version. We're over here playing around. Like we don't know who we are. We don't know who we are. South Africa, even, they know what's up.
That's the feather in the fez?
Feather in the fez. Pulling off a Rock Hallel with his one.
Right.
The feather in the fez. No one can do that. Noble Drew Ali didn't bring that. Shut the hell up. Noble Drew Ali didn't bring something. Noble Drew Ali told the Moors, beat herself. What are you talking about? So hope y'all like the new video, God's in Me. But of course we're gonna have some clown always out there. So here comes Angel of Wisdom. Worshipping wood and stones, trusting in wood and stones. Wood and stones is nature, first of all. Second of all, anybody worshiping anything around here? And I'd rather put some energy toward wood and stones than to Jordan and Nike and whoever else these people are worshiping. There's always going to be trolls. That's why you always have to make sure you have your... You got to make sure you have your bottle. Always have your bottle. Always have your bottle. Don't let them get away. Always have your bottle so they can get theirs. Honest to Brother Mario Bay. Always have their bottle. As a matter of fact, let's go find some of them right now. That's been leaving.
And that's for the people who don't study too. As soon as I seen the wood and stone, see, I know what that stuff is.
Yeah.
You know, I know what that stuff is. Even with the prophet's title, with Drew, that goes back to wood, a type of tree. Even Noah's Ark was made out of a type of wood, a type of tree.
Yeah.
Well, all that goes back to the pineal gland. All of it. All the wood goes back to the pineal gland. The oldest trees found in the world is found in South America, parts of Georgia. Like, you gotta look up in stones. I got a book. It tells you that like when they mention Stonehenge, the word stone don't mean what we think it means. Like, it just don't mean a rock. That don't mean that. You can go look up the metaphysical definition of a stone, esoteric definition of a stone. Oh, that stuff brings you back to a whole different thing. That's not just, what do you think you worshiping? Just some rocks? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, that's not, no.
That's where they're at. That's where they're at.
Just certain type of minerals that you can circle around yourself that we would call rocks, but they all have a purpose. You know, one's for healing, one's for, you know, for your stress problems or whatever. Like, you can, like, when I meditate with the carpet upstairs, I have all the circle alignments with the stones around me and everything.
Yeah. And then people think that that's worship. That's worship. We're not talking anything about these people worshiping Popeyes and Taco Bell or whatever. You know, he's got no words for them. No words for these swine-eating worshipers out here. Yeah. No words for them. But as soon as Moors start exercising and being themselves, all of a sudden now everybody got something.
Right.
Everybody got something to say.
Use the stones as like a boost for the meditation, not as the worship. It's just like a boost. These people drink Red Bull and 5-star energy drinks all day for a boost. As soon as Moors use nature, we're tripping. You drink 5-star energy drinks, Red Bull, Monsters. Oh, like, come on. What do you mean for a boost?
Right. We're going to officially do this one, but we just had to put this one out there. Spencer Du, the Aliites. Spencer Du, the Aliites. And he smashes this to shreds. He smashes this on a level where there's no way you can't trust what Noble Drew Ali brought. There's no way. If this European could get this out of what Noble Drew Ali got, then there's definitely something wrong upstairs with our people who are in complete denial of Noble Drew Ali and what he presented. 100% there's something wrong upstairs with our people if they can't get this, right? And again, we're gonna do another session after I get through this. You know, a couple of the other Moors, we're gonna go through some of this because he goes nuts. But we'll just give you a couple excerpts from the introduction just to get your palate wet. Remember, this is just the introduction. In one photograph of Noble Drew Ali, founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the last prophet of these days sits in a suit and tie, staring solemnly into the camera lens, holding in his hands 2 small flags, each the size of a handkerchief, These paired flags illustrate the central teachings of Ali's divine and national movement, that citizenship was the salvation of his people. Citizenship was the salvation of his people. Nationality implied and included religious belief and practice, rules of behavior, and means of conceptualizing the universal deity. The red Moorish flag simultaneously called attention to a distinct cultural heritage and served to reject incorrect labels previously ascribed to those who held it, namely that they were Negro, colored, or Black. Ali described the MSTA's goals as both to help in the great program of uplifting fallen humanity in general and to teach his nationality those things necessary to make them better citizens. Ali understood citizenship as both a status and a process, a set of legal rights within the state and a set of sacred obligations to work of transforming the state. As status, citizenship offered salvation because it meant that the people Ali called Moorish or Moors would be recognized by the state and by their fellow American citizens as equal in regard to rights, part and parcel of the we the people of the United States. This salvific status could be achieved, according to Ali, by returning to proclaiming and enacting one's forgotten ancestral identity, one's nationality. Ali presented citizenship as the status of being recognized by the state as a human being, as opposed to a slave, an object, or a legal fiction. Proclaiming one's nationality served as a way for Moors to transition back into humanity. The claim of a distinct nationality circumvented the Negro problem, the social stigma and legal consequences of Black identity, as MSTA members declared themselves to be other than Negro. Ali's notion of citizenship as practice included the broadly ethical, such as devotion to truth and living a moral life, and the narrowly political, such as voting and campaigning, actively engaging in democracy. Ali presented civic practice as essential to the eschatology that anticipated an America made perfect through alignment of human society, including its very legal and political systems, with the divine ideal of law, law understood as love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. This is a European talking. This is European talking. Ali's, oh, go ahead, More.
No, just to add on too, just a little background on him. He's a professor at Ohio State University, and it's another one that he works at too. He works at two colleges, like active right now. You know, he majors in religious studies, and you know, this is what the information that Europeans putting out, just to show, like, you know, another one that's what the prophet said, the European's gonna help me, why not you?
Why not you? The European's gonna help me, why not you? Ali's MSTA spread rapidly across the America of the late 1920s. Thousands of African Americans joined the movement, forming temples in northern cities like New York, Detroit, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland, as well as in southern cities such as Louisville, Kentucky, Pine Bluff, and Arkansas. In the wake of Ali's death in 1929, the MSTA underwent the first of a series of schisms and exists today in a highly fragmented, multifarious form. Ali's teachings outlived him, serving as the source material not only for a wide spectrum of communities and individual thinkers that identify themselves with the title of MSTA, but also for two other traditions, likewise diverse. The first of these, organized in the 1960s by Malachi York, eventually took the name United Nuwaubian Nation of Moors and the Yamasee Native American Moors of the Creek Nation. The second movement, the Washita de Dug de Mondia, was organized by a Louisiana politician named Verdiasi Gaston in the 1980s. Washita, like Nuwaubian Yamasee, demarcates both the singular and plural forms of those who identify with this tradition. While each of these movements consists of multiple communities exhibiting a range of thoughts and practices, all three are best understood as Aliite religion. I use this term to highlight the fact that these traditions are indebted to and continually engage with the works of Noble Drew Ali. Ali's thought frames a set of primary concerns within these traditions, namely a focus on citizenship, an emphasis on nationality in relation to that goal, and the theorization and practice of law. How does European get all this? How? European got all this? One European got all this. And we're beating our people in the head with this, and they don't want it? That was just the intro. And again, like I was just reading the highlighted parts. We weren't reading everything. Like we were just reading the highlighted parts. And our people playing. But it's okay. So we wanna tell the Moors, those who study, we got a session coming up on this one soon. And you might want to have your copy so you could read along when we start going to this one, because trust me, European goes in. Goes in. European goes in.
Yep. It sounds like another enormous jig.
Another Anor. Where's Anor at? We might as well put him out there. Yes. Another enormous jig. We are all Moors. It's definitely another enormous jig. Same amount of pages too, probably. Yeah, 180 something. Yeah, these more. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much the same amount of pages. 180 something. Right? In order to change the people, you must change their literature.
That's what I've been thinking this whole time. You've been talking.
Yep. What Noble Drew Ali told Moors to do. Honors to the Moors that study and change some literature around here.
I seen you put an excerpt from that book, The Aliites, that he put. He listened to your song. Oh
yeah, I'll tell some of those out there.
Moors Lives Matter.
Yeah, this dude went
nuts. And I'm like, this a professor from Ohio State University? Like, how did you get that?
Yeah.
What kind of research you been doing?
Like what has he been doing? Yeah, he put some of these out there. We could put this one out. Dictionaries are treated like historical sources, like scripture, as authoritative containers of truth that simultaneously bear the marks of corruption over time, either by accident or with the express purpose of oppressing Moors. An introductory page on many of the books published by the MSTA-affiliated Khalifa Media urges readers to keep on hand a good standard dictionary of the English language, preferably one printed before 1965, in order to quote-unquote make the most effective use of the text. Voicing a popular argument in Aliyite communities, the text explains, the reasons for this suggestion are twofold. First, the book you hold is revised from a text originally published in 1928. Some of the words contained herein may no longer be in common use and or may have different definitions in modern dictionaries. Second, I suggest using a dictionary of this sort, as many definitions, especially those pertaining to our people, were altered after the civil rights movement in the United States. An example would be comparing the definitions of American in a pre-1965 dictionary versus one printed more recently. As fervently as Taj Tariq Bey appeals to his fellow Aliyites for a shared first principle in etymology, he also benefits from the situation as it is, gaining credibility and fame within Aliyite circles through his display of charisma, speed at argumentation, and persuasive power, frequently featured in online videos showing him contesting knowledge with other Aliyites on the battlefield of the streets. European. One means by which the authority of Aliyite thinkers is exerted and contested is through the Aliyite knowledge practice categories as etymology. Etymology is the origin and history of words, as Abdullah El Talib Mozi Bey explains it. For a researcher, however, to enter into such questions of origin, such study of the accretations of history is to reveal the layers of distorted meanings that have been intentionally added to or otherwise have come to displace the authentic true signification of words. Etymology opens up a whole new world of thinking for you, says MSTA thinker Abdullah El Talib Mozi Bey, allowing the thinker to get in the right track and thought and understanding, while also revealing the oppressive history of how words are suppressed and the true meaning is concealed. Such meaning can have legal consequences. When we voluntarily identify ourselves with false labels with the wrong words, legally, we are subjecting ourselves to slavery. G.S. Kudrow L. and G.S. Rami Salam L. insist. This dude went nuts, studying everybody. Studying everybody. Research must be done by the individual in order to truly count as Aliyite research. Perform your own due diligence, writes Kudrow Adwo L. and Rami Salam L. toward the end of their 77 amazing facts about the Moors with complete proof, admitting that, in fact, they have not offered complete proof in their book. They argue that this decision to neglect such proof is the key to their book's pedagogical purpose. The volume is less concerned with teaching facts than with inspiring research. Quote, this text could have matched every fact with a source so that it would be easy for the readers to confirm its contents, but that would be a disservice. The mission of this book is not the mission of this book is not to work your journey for you. Readers are urged, pick up these books and go study. Go to the websites and study. Study. It is insufficient to simply believe what one tells you, even if they are recognized scholars. You can believe us or believe others. If you do so, you will never know. You must seek the truth for yourself. You know what?
Yeah.
I don't know what compelled this European right here to go this nuts, but he went off. He went off on some different ones.
It's it's crazy to see, you know, that point of view, like to see, like I'm just amazed, you know, like wow,
amazed.
Like I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely didn't see that one coming.
To be written this type of way.
Yeah, definitely didn't see this one coming.
You know, to see, I just wish I was around in 2090 or something like that to see people's reaction. You know what I mean? To this book then.
This is the one. The music video for More Lives Matter by the band Al Moroccans takes a more conciliatory tone, co-opting the famous slogan while insisting that in America, more lives matter because it seems like Black lives don't matter, and that education and political unity through the MSTA will ensure your inalienable rights, the insatiable delight of knowing yourself and bringing all injustice to light. Quoting Roots K and all this madness. Roots K was going nuts when she read that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though she did say that he was quoting us or whatever, he wasn't quoting us, he was quoting Roots K. He quotes Roots K in their book, and they're a university professor or whatever. They're quoting More Lives Matter, and we can't even get our crazy.
Right.
You just have to slap yourself and hope you're not dreaming, yo. Crazy.
So how do we look at that? I've never read in a book where somebody put somebody's song lyric in it. You know what I mean? Like like how he broke it down. Could you imagine that? Like that's bugging me out right there.
Yeah.
That's really bugging me out. Like they do, you know, like that's for like the award shows and Grammys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I never seen that like that. I'm like, oh wow, you went and found some music.
Yeah.
That the more all of that. Like you read, I know he read in depthly information about Noble Drew Ali, but just to go listen to the music after. Like that's bugging me out. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? What is it that you're doing?
Another Michelle Gibson.
Yeah. and Rick Smith and Peter Moon and whoever else.
Right. All of that.
Yeah.
All of that. All of that's amazing to see their point of view about us. Like Michelle Gibson just dropped another video with the mansions, the Moorish mansions.
The Moorish mansions, going crazy
across the world.
Yeah,
I'm like, yo, like, okay, like this is crazy right here.
And then it goes back to that thing that we were talking about too, that ain't no Aboriginal, Indigenous, whoever's claiming that they built those. If you're the Aboriginal, Indigenous, you should be claiming that you built those. If you were here first and you've been here since time immemorial and you were never calling yourself Moors, who built those castles and all those stuff and pyramids and all that? Because we never hear these people claim that they built those. Never. Never.
Nope. That's not. They don't talk about powwows and teepees. You can't claim that. It doesn't fit that story that is fit for a so-called Indian. When you're talking about the architecture like this, none of that's supposed to be here. It's supposed to be deserted with teepees. Everything else is just, now we got houses. Now Europeans started building houses. That's how we got here. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Crazy. Europeans going around showing us across the world Moorish architecture, while the Moors are writing slave novels.
Yeah, and putting out slave movies.
About crazy. Bugging me out to see that.
Yeah.
Dr. Ben goes in on that. He said, people going around here celebrating roots. He said, it was a novel. Going around naming your children Kunta Kinte.
Dr. Ben, R.I.P. R.I.P. Dr. Ben, because you were funny. You can remember him too when he came up here to do his lecture or whatever. And, he's Ethiopian or whatever, so the Rastas are on some, yeah, we can get him to tell us about, Haile Selassie or whatever like that. Dr. Ben said, Haile Selassie is dead as a dog or whatever. Rastas were mad. Rastas were mad. They were mad. They almost beat up Dr. Ben. They were mad. They were mad. What is wrong? That's just the truth. He's dead as a dog or whatever. I was like, oh my gosh, this dude is about to get beat up by the Rastas. This dude's about to get beat up.
Yeah, I know they were
mad. Mad.
You told Dr. Ben, you don't seem like you're trying to get on the people. Like, you're not trying to, be a good, get a look from the people as a good person. He said, I didn't plan to. I didn't plan to.
I didn't plan to
look like that.
Yep, I didn't plan to.
Dr. Ben amazed me. He's the first one that ever made me think. He was like, God didn't come down here and told you that there was a God. People may say that. I said, what? My brain just like sizzled. Like, wow. Like, that's amazing. People said that. I said, whoa. That is what happened.
Yeah. So we also wanted to go over today as many as we can of these oral statements that was put out by Brother R. Love L., Grand Sheik of MSTA. Copyrighted in 1987 as Oral Statements and Prophecies of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Introduction by Brother R. Love L., Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America. This introduction is written to inform the Moors and readers of the importance of the things that the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali said when speaking to a group of Moors or to an individual. The Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali was a message carrier for Allah, the same as the angels of Allah. To the Moors, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is an angel of Allah, who was sent to bring us the everlasting gospel of Allah. The words that the Prophet spoke to the Moors were the messages of Allah that the Prophet brought to us. The Prophet said, every word I speak is spirit, and you Moors had better heed. That is, regard his words with care. Consider them, give them your attention, and obey. The Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali is due high honors in his station as a prophet of Allah. He is due high honors for the work he performed. He is due high honors for the suffering that he went through, that we may receive the holy and divine messages that he brought for our salvation. The things that the Prophet said are due high honor because they are from Allah, the great God of the universe. A special warning to some who have committed gross wrongs in violation of a warning from the Prophet, wherein he said, woe upon the one that scatters my flock. The Moors that have been in the Moorish Science Temple of America long enough, they have seen the reward of those that committed this wrong. It is not well when they have earned by their wrongful acts. Though the works of this evil use the names of Allah and His Prophet to lure others from the true faith and path, they work but evil, and they lead astray those that also go to their harm. Religious or political issues are not at issue, and when these wrongs are committed, there is but one issue that is right and wrong. We Muslims, true submitters to the will of Allah, should obey Allah and His Prophet Noble Drew Ali. The Prophet said, "Let me find you where I left you." This warning is plain. One should never say that the Holy Prophet said a thing unless you know it to be right. The Holy Quran of Mecca teaches that man that tells a lie on Allah or the Prophet creates a terrible doom. Honor the Holy Prophet Drew Ali and honor his words. Peace. And keep in mind that our Love L is through the past leadership of Kurtman Bey, Nelson Bey, Blakely Bey. Now, these are the individuals after Noble Drew Ali was transitioned, and then they claimed superior authority in the Moorish movement and did whatever else they did. Now, the controversy with this, because you see, we have 101 questionnaire, which were in the Moorish Guide newspapers. And we know that Noble Drew Ali was directly relative to Moorish Guide newspaper. Holy Quran of Moorish Science Temple of America, which we know Noble Drew Ali prepared this for the Moors, brought this back for the Moors so that they can learn the truth about the 18 years of Yahshua's life that was left out of the Holy Bible. On top of that, teachings of the Prophet himself from his divine mind for us to get our family and get ourselves and get our nation in order. And Moorish literature, which again were articles, flyers, etc., that Noble Drew Ali was using to promote the Moorish movement during that time. Now, even though the oral statements and prophecies of Prophet Noble Drew Ali are things that were said by Moors that they heard Noble Drew Ali say, etc. The fact that it was Kurtman Bey and those Moors, people who were directly the disciples of Noble Drew Ali, some of this stuff actually probably was said. They probably actually did hear some of this stuff. Now, if we can pull up, like we were talking about on Sunday's class, if we can pull up the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and then we can go to Dr. York and pull up the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And we can find that there's issues with these two books when we read certain chapters. But we don't throw this away and say, no, that has nothing to do with Noble Drew Ali because he had to say that and he compiled that for the Moors, he prepared that for the Moors, so we can't, then we shouldn't be doing that with this either. Because that appeals to the idea that Moors are taking this convenience approach with regard to Noble Drew Ali's teachings. So, for example, when I used to be on Facebook and people talk crazy and Kudrow cusses them out or whatever, Moors was Noble Drew Ali said, use profanity in the mildest form. Like, yeah, he did say that, but you still get FOH because you're talking crazy right now. And if I don't tell you FOH, you're probably going to keep talking crazy to me, which you're not going to be talking crazy to me. You go talk crazy to whoever else out there that doesn't want to tell you FOH and go suck yourself. Because I'm not hearing the BS. Like, it's not part and parcel, it's part and partial. And, Moorish Americans are who Noble Drew Ali came to save, not Moors and all this type of crap that people were talking. And the crap that they were talking, made me violate some stuff Noble Drew Ali said. But again, when we go back and we go through what Noble Drew Ali laid down for the Moors, and then we think about, well, it said that, Moors tried to kill Noble Drew Ali, and Moors tried to do this and that, and Moors took his furniture and threw. You think Noble Drew Ali didn't come back and say, what the F is going on? These people throwing my furniture out on the street or whatever because I went to some other state to go visit some Moors? You think he wasn't pissed or whatever? You think he just came back out there, oh yeah, oh it's all right or whatever? You think he didn't let heads roll? You telling these Moors lace up their shoes and stuff like that? You better get yourself right before I get back and all that stuff. You think Noble Drew Ali wasn't serious with these Moors? Remember that we're dealing with people who they've fallen so far off that a prophet had to come to them. And then when he came, they took him out. The one people that he came to come get, they took him out. You think he wasn't ripping these Moors to shreds? I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. Because
he ripped them as soon as he came to him.
Right? Because
he said, I only came to you
because you needed me the most. And certain things are certain activity is warranted. Especially in this time that we're living in now. That isn't the 1920s. And again, we know that Noble Drew Ali is a prophet because there's enough things that he laid down for us to know that, he's real. The lessons that he brought, the things that he presented for the Moors, once you study them and then you apply them, you see how real his prophethood is. You recognize that his prophethood is real. If we have this compilation of things said by Noble Drew Ali to the Moors, and then there's people who are saying, forget this because these are not oral statements of the prophet. These are oral statements of what the prophet said because some Moors heard him say that, so we don't know if that's really the prophet or not. People are playing games because there's things in this that manifested. And if Noble Drew Ali, if these things really weren't by Noble Drew Ali, they were by the people who said they heard Noble Drew Ali say something, but it wasn't Noble Drew Ali, so we're not sure or whatever. And the things manifested, it was probably the prophet actually really did say it. Stop playing. If the thing manifested, more than likely, it actually was so. Regardless whether these are dirty Moors or whatever, doesn't matter. Somebody heard something that Noble Drew Ali said, they put it out there, and then the thing happened, it was probably the prophet that said it. And that's where we got to use our common sense. And stop trying to avoid the fact that, hey, he actually said certain things that are not in these books. There was actually some things that were said that we should probably consider, just for the simple fact that the things manifested. And we know that the people who heard Noble Drew Ali say certain things, we know that they weren't the prophet. So we can't put that, we can't say, oh, well, they said that, so that means that they're the prophet. Or we're going to dismiss it because they said it, but because it manifested, well, we're going to dismiss it, because we know that they're not the prophet. No, they probably did hear what the prophet said. And that was a lesson for you to get. Because Juali also said that he's working from the soul plane with these Moors. So don't get it twisted, thinking that everything is in the Quran and the Moorish literature and the 101 questions only. Because like we said, Spencer came out, Juali told the Moors, we're going to make the European tell the truth. The Europeans telling the truth in this. This is Noble Juali's prophecy manifested. Noble Juali saying he's going to tell the truth. That came from this. That's not in none of the literature, Holy Quran or none of that. That came from this, that Noble Juali said the European tell the truth. Watch the radio, listen to the news. I'm going to make the European tell the truth. Moore just told you he went to go watch the movie. All they're doing is talking about Moors throughout the whole movie. They got,
they got Drew Ali on the refrigerator, but then
I was just going to say, what the hell's the name of the movie?
I don't know the name of the movie. I don't know.
Come on, Moors in the chat. What's the name of the damn movie? The Denzel movie. Roman J. Israel. Roman J. Israel. Drew Ali on the fridge in the movie. You think he didn't set that up to do that? Well, he didn't move. Noble Drew Ali didn't say watch movies. He said watch the news and listen to the radio. Shut the hell up. Stop this. What you mean? What you mean? Right? So let's go through some of these and let's see if.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Mar.
The prophet said, watch the news. I got on my channel, the Moabitess was on the news, promoting her vegan restaurant on the news. The Moabitess.
Yep.
Prophet said, the name of the title is called, the prophet said, watch the news. That's the name of it. That's the name of it. The Moabitess is right there. Boom.
Right. So we're just gonna see how many of these would really qualify as maybe Noble Juali did say this, or this is some BS. These Moors are playing around with people, right? Since we already know that it was the Kirkman Bay camp that put this out, so things are going to be questionable, right? The Holy Prophet Noble Juali told the Moors, I brought you everything it takes to save a nation. Now take it and save yourself. When he said that, the Prophet was holding up the Holy Quran of the Moor Science Temple of America and the questionnaire to show us the books we need to save ourselves. Now we ask the question, is this prophecy of Noble Juali, or is these some Moors just saying that Noble Juali said that? I brought you everything it takes to save a nation. Now take it and save yourself. And then he was holding up these two books. Now,
Islam, Gracie.
Islam, where?
Yeah, because that's key. Because the mothers used to, or still do, they kill us with the prophet said, take it and save yourself.
Yeah.
Now, go sit you behind that, because me and you, people in the chat, and many other Moors, how many stories we got when we get this information and we go around trying to tell our bloodline or whatever, who we are and stuff, and we just get shut down. Like, no. Like, you just hear all the stories.
Yeah.
And then it's just like prophecy. Prophet said, take it and save yourself.
Yeah.
Right,
you tell you save other people.
You went outside the prophecy.
Yeah.
Now you're suffering.
Now you're suffering because you didn't take it and save yourself first. You took it and tried to save other people. You're not even saved yet. You just found out that you're Moors. You're running out there, go tell people, hey, man, we heard about that. We're Moors and all that stuff. And then these people shooting you down. And you're like, why don't they want it and all that stuff? Because violating what Noble Drew Ali said. He said, take it and save yourself. When you're saved, then people are going to look at you, wow, gosh, he knows how to swim. We might as well go to him to go get some lessons because he fell off the bridge into the stuff and he saved himself. Maybe we'll go to him. So if we fall off the bridge, we'll be all right. Opposed to you trying to convince them, go learn how to swim in case you fall off the bridge. No, you fall off the bridge and save yourself to show them that you can be saved. So that sounds like prophecy manifesting, because again, whether we talk about dirty Moors, whether we talk about righteous Moors, temple Moors, active Moors, whatever, nobody's going to doubt these right here. Nobody's going to doubt these. We know Noble Drew Ali brought this. We know Noble Drew Ali brought this. We know this. So if we know that Noble Drew Ali brought this and he told us, take these stuff and save ourselves, and we took these and we studied these and saved ourselves, then that's probably one for the prophet. We'll just put a check mark over here. One check mark for the prophet, 0 for the dirty Moors. Go ahead, Moore.
Just one more to back it too, because we got stories when you say taking and save yourself. You know, I walk to the bus stop to go pick up my son or whatever. You know, I always bring some literature just while I'm waiting for the bus. And one day I'm walking to the bus stop, all I hear is, I respect that, and I put my head in the book, you know, and then I look up, and he said, yeah, I respect that. It's a young Moorish, a Moor who speaks Latin, we would call Puerto Rican or whatever. But he's standing there young, probably like 16. He's like, yeah, oh yeah, I respect that. What you reading? And you know, when we look at it, it's like I'm reading the book for myself.
Right.
You know, to save myself. Because of that energy, he sees that. You know, like, but I didn't have to go, oh, you know, we Moors and all of that to him. While he, no, I didn't even see him. I'm saving myself. And because he sees that, he goes, I respect that. Now that whole energy right there, you know, like, where is that going to take him? You know, like, okay, I see dude just walking around reading the book. You know, like, where does that take his mind to? That's why I'm like, that's another check for the prophet. I'm sitting there saving myself, and the young dude just out of nowhere. I respect that. I'm looking at him, you know, he got the hat on low, jeans hanging, all of that.
Yeah, the works. Yep. So number one, we can check that one off for the prophet. Yeah, we check that one off for the prophet. That's probably Noble Drew Ali. Somebody heard him say that for real, whether it was at the convention or at a meeting or whatever. They heard Noble Drew Ali said something, and then that one's a prophecy manifested. All right. 2, the Holy Prophet told the Moors, children, you are home, and the European is 3,000 miles from home, and he is going to have to take some water. Right now. Now we could use this one, right? We could use this one with regard to the fact to present the fact that Noble Drew Ali is telling us that we're the Aboriginal and Indigenous. If he's telling us that we're home, and the European is not from here, he's the real foreigner because he's 3,000 miles from home. Right? In our research, after number 1, studying ourselves, we realized that, hey, actually, yeah, we are home. This is our land over here, and the European actually is the foreigner. He's not the American. We're the American. And he is going to have to take some water, which again, that also destroys the slave myth. Because if they brought us over here, they would have had to brought water with them. If they brought us over here. So if European has to take water back home because he's 3,000 miles from here, and the reason why he has to take water is because it's going to take you 3 months or whatever to go 3,000 miles in the 1920s, and you're not going 3,000 miles with no water, you will die. Then it also goes to say that if we were brought over here, they would have had to bring water, which they didn't bring any water because ain't no such thing as anybody came over here. Because why? We're already home. Nobudrali killed the slave myth too. So we can go to one more for the prophet right there. That was probably something that was legitimate. And just like the Moor said, common sense is better than book sense. Even though common sense is not too common today. We're still going to go with common sense. We're still going to go with common sense over the book sense, right? This is a book, right? The book says, children, you are home, and the European is 3,000 miles from home, and he's going to have to take water. Common sense, based on our studies and stuff like that, lets us know, hey, he was telling us that we're Aboriginal and Indigenous, which is 1920s, which is the first probably individual to tell us that, because everybody else was telling us about we're from Africa and all that stuff back then. And in the 1920s, you're not going to find me any info of some black Indians coming around and trying to tell the Negroes that they're Aboriginal and Indigenous. You have anything to add on for number 2 more?
Because you already nailed it. As soon as you said because that's what I was going to say. That one's common sense.
Yeah.
You know, the whole thing of us being here, you know, Aboriginal Indigenous people, this being Northwest Amexem, you know, the whole thing. And we know, like you said, based on our studies, those people came over here in 1492 and thus after.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's regular. That's just common, like you said, common sense. Like everybody knows those are Americans. Like that's regular. Like you can go around and really do that.
Yeah.
And actually, like you know, like those aren't Americans, and they look at you like, yeah, they're not. They're like, yeah, okay. They're like, we're Americans. Like, and they're like, yeah, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, they're not.
Right.
And again, we want to put it out there. Remember, go up, look up Queen of the Moors clip, Maleficent. We don't want to play it just in case. You'd already know how they do with us when we play stuff and stuff like that. So.
Oh, yeah, that shuts you down.
Especially it's in the theaters right now.
Yep.
Shut us
They
down.
got their hand right on the button, waiting for you, man.
Waiting for you to play it. Come on, play it so we can shut you down. Number 3. Number 3, brother. I cook may. Oh yeah, we just want to also too, just like when we beat up on people's videos, right? We just want to remind you that there's 239 oral statements.
Right.
You think Prophet said none of these?
Yep.
Prophet said none of these. All these are fraud. Prophet said none of these. I don't know. 239? These Moors can't even make up 50 of these. There's no way. These Moors sat around and came up with 239 of these oral statements, and Nobudrali said none of them. I don't know. That's a hard one. That's a hard one. Number 3.
Just sit around.
Yeah, number 3, I'm kind of suspect with number 3. Brother I Cookbay and other Moors said, the Holy Prophet said, my good Moors are going to live. Right, if that was the case, there wouldn't be any dirty Moors. So I think they made this one up to try to get themselves out of hot water. They made this one up. There's no way that Nobudrali said this. No way. Because if he really said this, then there would be no dirty Moors right now. Everything would be great right now. There would be nobody trying to bum rush Taj Tariq Bey at some meeting or whatever. There would be no Moors $5,000 for papers and all that stuff. Call themselves law firms and all that when they're selling packages. There would be no people going against the mothers, talking crazy about the mothers. Mothers put in so much work, and people, you still talking crazy?
Yep.
Right? Those are not good Moors. That
500 for a phone call.
Yeah, those are not good Moors.
They call it consultation.
Yeah, those are not good Moors.
That's a phone call.
Yeah. There ain't no consultation. That's a phone call. Matter of fact, speaking about phone call, Islam to the Moor. Let me find this one. Let me say his name correct because I don't want to butcher him. Brother Saladin, if I'm not mistaken. Brother Saladin L. called me today. Called me from school. He's going to school in Arizona or something like that. This Moor he's at school now, right? He's at school. Moor called me. I'm being accosted or whatever like that. The phone hangs up. Like, damn, what the hell's going on? Like, I'm thinking some highwayman or whatever tried to kidnap him or something like that. Call back, campus security, acting crazy with this Moor.
Wow.
Campus security going nuts on this Moor. How come? Why they tripping? Well, it's you, as he said, I think he said Arizona, wherever he's at. 619 area code or something like that. Wherever he's at. This Moor is talking about, well, everywhere else is baking hot out here. Everywhere else is baking. I have class in, half an hour or something like that. I'm not trying to be all sweaty or whatever like that when I go to class. So before class, doing some studying, I figure, I'm going to just go into the air-conditioned office or whatever and do my work in there. Ain't no big deal. I paid my finance or whatever. I got my little card or whatever like that. I go to this school. Highwayman, fake highwayman, trying to tell him he can't be in the office. He needs to get out and all this stuff. He's telling him, no, I paid my finance or whatever. And I reserve my rights on everything that you guys have in here. You can't do anything or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So we decided, okay, don't worry. You know what I mean? Just go get yourself a cold beverage, go outside, keep yourself cool. But just make sure you go to the director, dean, whatever like that, put in a complaint on this clown for violating your study rights. Because if you paid your finance, you have a right to study. And right now he's stopping you from studying. Forget anything else. Throw him under the bus. Make sure you throw him under the bus. Right? But let's bring that up to say, Moor called today. Why? Because remember, and he's somewhere where niggers don't read, niggers don't study, so everybody has this thing about, oh, who is this guy think he is or whatever, trying to get a degree or whatever. He's a black guy, not knowing that he was dealing with a Moor student, you know what I mean, outside of school student and in school student, you know what I mean. So know that these people are going to try stuff with you when you start saying who you are and being yourself and all the stuff that Noble Jwali said, save yourself. Noble Jwali told these Moors, go get a good European education. Moor went to go get his good European education, listening to his prophet. Went to go get his good European education, and these same Europeans trying to stop him from doing that. Folly. Right? And again, there's an example of, a good Moor. He wasn't doing nothing. He wasn't trying right to travel. He wasn't trying to do stuff. More just trying to get some cool environment so he could study before class. people have an issue. Moors trying to study. Right? Islam more.
Islam. No, I really yield the floor on that one. That's just bugging me out right there. That's just my and I'm like, I know it's hot because I went to school. I was so-called Utah, so that's right around over there, so-called Arizona. And I'm like, man, it's probably like 120 degrees outside. Like, it's scorching. I know it was. It's too hot to sit on the ground, too hot to sit in the chair. Everything's hot. Everything's scorching, baking, pen hot, pencil paper hot, everything. Everything hot. I already know what he was talking about.
Straight.
I already know. The shade's hot. Everything's hot.
Right. So 3, we got a question mark on 3, because if the good Moors are the ones that's gonna live, how come there's so much dirty Moors living right now? Why are they here? Right. So we have to question mark number 3. 4.
Because like you said, though, real quick, Rishi, like you said, a question mark on 3. Not saying it's not true.
Yeah. You can't say, you might have said that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because, according to Bill Proctor, another European, he says there's no such thing as bad. Out of all things, you can see the good out of it.
Yeah. Right.
If, even the dirty Moors, at least he's saying that we're Moors. Right. And then, I'm giving him that. That's like the whole big ordeal anyway. Like, we're not Negro, black, and colored. Like, if you just get those keys, even though the rest of it is going to be crazy after that, dealing with them, just that key right there can lead you on to a long way. Yep. Like, I'm not Negro, black, and colored. You can just stand on that. And that alone puts a wrench in the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, that just standing on that. So, it's not all the way, cause, like you said, he's calling them Moors. At least, so I'm like, okay, if they're Moors, they know they're Moors, and that we're not Negro, black, and colored. Even though they might sell it, like, okay, they might sell it, but they told you. At least you were told. Yeah.
And then on the other side too of it, that if you're dirty, you're probably dead already. So the good Moors are living. So that one there's you have the tightrope with that one. That one there.
Right, question mark.
Right. You're just question mark now. We're not gonna say big X, give it the and all that stuff. We're gonna just park. We're gonna park 3 for a later date. We'll get some more thoughts on 3, right? Just some more if you want, even on the comment of this. Give your thoughts on number 3. My good Moors are going to live. Did Noble Juwali say that one? Did those Moors hear right? Because they said the Holy Prophet said, or did they make that BS up to try to get themselves out of hot water? Right. 4. The Holy Prophet said, I'm going to stop the European from thinking and start you Moors to thinking for your own good. Now, that one there might be. That one might be. Because one of the ways that I'm looking at that one is this whole concept of once the European took over in these lands, they actually stopped thinking because everything that they do is retrograde. They never created anything since the 1900s. All they do is keep repeating the same stuff over and over again. Nothing has been evolutionary or a new creation. Everything is always feeding off of something that was before it when it comes to them. That pretty much sounds to me like they stopped thinking And our problem is that we weren't being ourselves. We were being Negro, black, colored, following them. So now we were in retrograde too, like some dumbasses. We fell into retrograde. We fell into the repetition, calling ourselves Negro, black, colored, when Negro is black and black is Negro, and we're just saying the same stuff. We're not saying nothing different. But then we think we're saying something different. We think we're spectacular because, oh, we got it in now, and we got it in now, and now we can and we can vote, and we can go to school without the Europeans and all this stuff. But hey, when you look at what's going on, these people still got bayonets on you and all that stuff. It's just, there's just no blade on the stuff. They still got guns on you, telling you, you can't go here, you can't go there, nigger, sit down, nigger, go play, bounce the ball and all that stuff. They're still doing the same stuff that they were doing.
Yep.
And we weren't thinking for our own good. We were thinking for somebody else's good. That's why we got nothing. That's why even today, we're still getting played. Got nothing. We got nothing. Then we should, mountains of gold were supposed to reveal to the Moors, but Europeans still here, so ain't no mountains revealed. We get nothing. So I think 4, based on, we know that these Moors don't have the power to stop no European from thinking, because they're not the prophet, and they haven't done anything to stop him from anything. The matter of fact, they've been giving him so much life by claiming to be Negro, black, colored, and all these other stuff. Remember, we were told that all these Moors got the opportunity. Here's the vault. Stop teaching about we're Moors and all that stuff and start doing some black and African and whatever. And a lot of these Moors took the money and ran from the European and started pushing their little BS, knowing that they're lying, knowing that they're pushing a fraud, which gave this European a little bit of momentum to still be around here when stuff was supposed to be over for them and we were supposed to be back in the seats by now, because we're the nation. The Europeans are not the nation, we're the nation, right? And again, once the European was stopped from thinking, we were supposed to start thinking for our own good, which we didn't do, which kept them in that state of this repetitious whatever, everything every 25 years got to come back up to vote again and all that stuff. The whole Moors used to vote Republic, now they're Democratic and all that, and then there's still that today. So 4, I think we can chalk that one up for the prophet, because again, we can see that the European, that's in America, I don't know Europeans anywhere else, the ones here, they've stopped thinking. They've stuck to where they were since the New Deal, and they haven't moved from that. They still got fiat going on. Like everything is still retrograde for them. Yeah. Islam more.
Islam. And to add on too, just to add on, I see it too as right now, it's going into it too, right now, with the whole, when Trump became president, everybody I felt like there was a lot of questions going on, how did the apprentice guy become president? It's it's making them look like suspect. That's to stop thinking. That wasn't a thoughtful thing to make Trump president. You're starting to look fake with that.
Yeah.
That didn't look real as putting, I don't think that was a good thing that they did with making some actor guy or whatever. And, even with Arnold Schwarzenegger and all of that,
Jesse the Body Ventura as a governor and all this.
Right. That's not good. You guys aren't thinking. That's not. You guys are looking real suspect. Yeah. Putting all that and to get the Moors doing for themselves. And, like right now, a lot of people being self-sufficient. Like, I would have never thought to think I would be gardening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm up 3 o'clock in the morning last night, drawing plots of land. Like, okay, because I got 2 more pieces of land now that people are letting me use to grow more crops. So for next season, I'm thinking like, okay, well, how I'm gonna map out their land. I didn't think I would be doing that. You know what I mean? But because the European has been forced to stop thinking, now I'm forced
to think for your own good.
For myself, to do for myself. You know what I mean? Because what the prophet did.
Yeah.
He got these Europeans not thinking. Now I can't go to that's not smart to be spraying food, putting pesticides and all of that on the food, and GMO in the food. That wasn't smart to be doing that. And what does that do? It forces me to go supply for my own now. Like, think for my own, be on myself. That number 4 is perfect. I love number 4.
Yeah.
Like, that's because they're not thinking.
Yeah, they're just doing whatever. Right, yeah, they're just doing anything. GMO food and all that. They're just doing
all
stuff.
Of that. I'm like, yo, that's not smart.
Chemtrails, they got to breathe this air too. They're spraying chemtrails like they live in some bubble or something like that. Yeah. Not thinking.
They losing it. People, other nations not looking at Europeans as they're the people no more. You know what I mean? Like, people are not using so-called United States currency no more. You know what I mean? Like, nah, we don't use that. Like, they got them looking real crazy. Like, yo, you're not where you used to be at. Something's happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the prophet came. He got these Europeans not thinking anymore.
Straight.
Not thinking at all.
Number 5, I think I can let you talk on this one since you're a manifestation of this one right here. You're a manifestation of this one, knowingly or unknowingly. 5, Sister A. Brown L. of Temple 25 said that the Holy Prophet said, if you got people in the South, get them out, because that's where the destruction is going to start. How you end up in the North? How you end up out of Georgia and in Springfield if this is not a manifestation of the prophecy right now?
Yeah, that whole thing is crazy. It's crazy because you gotta remember too, like that is like me to the fullest. Like, cause you gotta remember, I'm born from down there.
Yeah.
I'm from there. You know what I mean? So like that alone sits in me like, well, like, why didn't I get left down there? I was raised here up north.
Yeah.
Why wasn't I left down there? Like in that mindset of country is illiterate. Like it's crazy. Like how backwards it is down there. Like with the education, well, knowing thyself down there. Like that's not going on down there, man. Like that's way out of the norm. Like no. I'm on the phone with my pops the other day, giving him the mysticism science of the Bible, and he starts doing that. Hey, let me call you back. Let me call you back. I know. Like he's a deacon. He's a deacon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I know, Pops. I love you. Let me sneak that in real quick, because I know you're trying to get off. We ain't gonna talk till later. I know. Because that's that down south mentality.
Yeah.
They stuck on what they stuck on. The prophet was true and exact when he said that. Like when I went down there, and the lady seen my fez, and she was intrigued by it, and she questioned me. She said, "Oh, what's that on your head? What's that on your head?" And I'm a Moor. Like, oh, what's your nationality? She said, "Oh, I'm a Christian, baby." this down south. This is what they, and I asked her specifically, "What's your nationality?" And she said, "Oh no, I'm a Christian, baby." And I'm like, okay, how do we do this? How do we? At least up north, they'll do some African American stuff. Like at least they'll do that. They won't say, I'm Christian.
Yeah.
You know what what I mean? Like, I'm like, dang, man. Like, up north, I'm like, how do we even, I don't even know how to address that. Like, I got to fix that. Like, I'm like, okay, I didn't ask you your religion. Like, I've never had to think that I would have to break off from that. Like, I'm ready to go in on African American, Black, and all of that.
Right.
She threw me for a long run with that one. I was like, you're Christian. Your nationality is Christian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Conversation over. Sound like the destruction started.
Right. And now the prophet, with that right there too, for example, the prophet didn't say conversation over. Todd said that.
Yeah.
Now are we supposed to throw Todd out the window when he says because the prophet didn't say that? Like, we don't do that.
Yeah.
We don't do that. You know what I mean? We don't do all of that. But now all these prophecies that were said back in the day that Moors said that the prophet said, we're supposed to throw those out the window though. But Moors that are going around talking now and the prophet said this, the prophet said that, we're supposed to believe that and agree to that though. Like, how does this work? When's the cutoff? I always ask that question, like, okay, when's the cutoff? Why are we picking and choosing when we can use certain things?
Yeah.
And not use certain things. We're picking and choosing. You can't do that.
Islam. 6.
That's crazy. Yeah, number 5 is perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfectly said.
Yeah, check mark for the prophet on that one. 6. The Holy Prophet told the Moors, for the various lynchings and murders that were committed in the South is going to have to pay off in blood. Now, when I think about this one, I always remember Divine Warning by the Prophet when he talked about him visiting the South and the conditions there and all that stuff. And it's our people who, whatever. So the lynchings and murders committed in the South, part of that is Europeans, part of that is really our people, because they created those conditions that had them get lynched and murdered because they were Moors. Those individuals that were hanging from trees and talking about KKK and all that stuff were Moors. Drawley went down there and said, hold on a second. It's not them. It's not they're doing something. It's the conditions of you people who look just like me that create certain circumstances that you have to deal with. Right?
Yep.
The various lynchings and murders that were committed. And in every other reference, he made reference to who these people are. He called them Europeans. What the South is going to do something. This one's suspect. Because Noble Drawley is specific. He's talking about, the European is going to do this. Right? If you got people in the South, how is he talking about having people in the South, but then he's saying that the South did something to somebody? This one sounds question markish. Because we know Noble Drawley knew who these people were, and he called them Europeans all the time he addressed them or any other nation. He wasn't playing fictions. He wasn't playing directions, our people. Right? And that could have been for this whole idea of the various lynchings and whatever, playing to that emotionalism of the people. Right? Because remember, at this point, Noble Drawley's already gone. Noble Drawley's transition. We're talking about copyrighted 1987. So they gotta tell these people something in order to get them to be part of the Moorish movement in 1987. After these people done dropped the ball, membership's probably dwindling down to a handful or whatever like that. And they're trying to get people in, right? So number 6 is a little bit suspect. It's a little bit suspect. Islam, more, you have anything for 6?
Repeat it again?
For the various lynchings and murders that were committed in the South is going to have to pay off in blood.
Like you had said earlier.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like Jawali.
I don't know what South.
What South? What do you mean
like,
the South did something? That's like saying the white man did something.
Right. Because I know that they're having problems in Venezuela. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's stuff like that South. Like, how are we looking at it? What lynchings? Because what year? I know that, the Spaniards came over here. They started doing lynchings in the South. Before this, lynchings that came over in like the 17th or 18th century.
Yeah.
Like you said, you can put 3 question marks next to that
one. 7. Brother J. Foster Bay of Temple 4 and 25 said that the Holy Prophet said, "Every word I speak is spirit, and you Moors had better heed." Yeah, we could write that one with the Prophet, because he said this is divine and national. So if he's divine, then that means if we go to these, he said this is divine and national. That means these have divine application before national application.
Yeah.
So if these have a divine, then that means everything that's in these is spirit. So Moors better heed these lessons that were given here. Better heed these. And because it wasn't said, Moors heed these, somebody heard Noble Jwali say that and it wasn't written down somewhere. The fact that he said he could do more work from the soul plane that he could do here is probably right in line. It's probably right in line.
Yeah.
All right. 8. Brother G. Cook Bay said that the Holy Prophet said, "Look around, and where you see people, one day wild animals will be roaming down the streets." That's a manifested prophecy. So we see that going on right now. Now they got the deer signs and all that type of stuff. You deers running across the street and all these quote unquote wild animals in rural areas. People going to have bears in their swimming pool and all this type of madness.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. Right. People finding boa constrictor in their toilet and all that. Alligator in the house. So yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Raccoon, possums in the cat bowl in your kitchen.
Yeah.
In the dog bowl. Them came through the dog bowl in your house.
Straight up. Right. Brother J. Foster Bay, Assistant GS of Temple 25 and a member of Temple 4 in the 1920s, said that the Holy Prophet said, "When the fire comes, I will be the water." When the fire comes, he would be the water. When we look at the fire coming, that could be a metaphysical lesson. Might not be fire chasing you down the street, a fire, fire with legs running, chasing you down. Noble Jwali is the water. Right? When the judgment comes, when the judgment gets here, Noble Juali is what you're going to be using to put out the flames. You know. Number 9. That could be Noble Juali. You could have actually said that.
Yeah. I always looked at it as key. Like when the Moor stands on a square at any time, you know, like especially for me, for instance, anytime I would stand on my square, it's the first thing I would think about.
Yeah.
Like when the fire comes, y'all better watch out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like, because I'm good. I already know what's coming for y'all. If y'all bring that fire, I know what's coming. Like, that's what I used to always be on. Still on. You know, anytime the fire comes, my son's school try to go crazy or something, yeah, I know that water's coming. The prophet's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And we also know what water symbolizes, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Water is knowledge and all type of stuff.
Knowledge and all that, yeah. Yeah. Definitely, the Noble Juali is definitely the knowledge that, you know, it's not about the man, it's about the message that he brought. So that's right and exact. That's
right. That's the whole thing. I'm glad you said that, Green Sheet. That's right there. It's the message he brought, because that's the whole thing. Is the knowledge. After he gave us that, because remember, he didn't give us everything. He told you, I gave you everything. You go back to sleep. That's another prophecy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because he didn't give us everything. He didn't give us. I'm sorry, Green Sheet. My son is calling.
No,
I yield right
no
now.
worries, boy. Islam.
Yeah.
10. Moors that saw and heard the Holy Prophet said that he said, "What is all these people doing here? There's only going to be a handful saved. I can count them on my fingers and have fingers left over." We can see that going on right now when we go talk to all our people with regard to this, and how much of them don't want it. Or how many Moors are in jurisdictions where they have that saying, "Well, I'm the only one here."
Right.
That you're pretty much the only one there saved. You're pretty much the only one there saved. And he could count you on one hand. You could, you definitely have fingers left over in some of these jurisdictions with these Moors, who they're the only ones there. Right?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you bear that literature and you just, you know, you're studying, there's nobody, you ran into the literature or something like that, and you just saw that, and you haven't ran into no more, you know, you done Googled a temple near your jurisdiction, ain't no temple, ain't no nothing, and then you just read that, and you're like, oh, okay, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sister M. Peyton Bay of Temple 4 and 25 said that the Holy Prophet Noble Juali said, "I have got airplanes, zeppelins, and apparatus. I'm going to take my good Moors up in an apparatus on an incline until it's all over with. When the fiery destruction comes at the end of time, the Prophet is going to take his good Moors up on the incline." That sounds like some church stuff. Forget these Moors. I don't think that one's the Prophet. That sounds like some get these Moors. That sounds like some Moors who be singing to him. Wade in the water.
Yeah.
Wade in the water, Drew Ali. Wade in the water. No, we're not falling for those ones. We're not falling for those ones. taking you up on no, and when the fiery destruction comes, Noble Drew Ali is taking you up on some incline. No. If fiery destruction comes, you're going to be just like Sarah Connor, holding the fence with the mouth open.
Yep. Yep.
You better know how to leave your butt. You better.
You're gonna be holding the fez, like, oh yeah, look at me. I got the
fez. Fez, burn it up.
Yep.
Turban and Fez just there left. That's it. Turban and Fez on the ground, burnt crisp. The more burnt up. You better know how to astral project when you see the flames coming. Right? He's got airplanes and zeppelins and apparatus and taking the good Moors up. What do you mean taking the good Moors up? He's leaving the more dirty Moors here to get some fire? They're getting their fire already. I don't know about that one. Number 11 is suspect. Number 11 suspect.
Yeah, no question.
And again, just the Moors start talking crazy or whatever, don't think that we're not talking against Noble Drew Ali or whatever. It says right here that this was compiled by Our Love L. So, we talking crazy, trying to see these Canaanland Moors, active Moors talking against the prophet and the holy instructions. No, this is the oral statements. Don't even try that. Don't try that. And we have a right to question some things in this. That's because 12. One day they are going to tear down all the churches and take the bells and melt them down and make bullets to fight with. The fact that there's churches here still, I don't know. But then they did have that thing with remember when the Social Security bought the 20 million bullets or whatever?
Yeah.
Social Security Administration buying all them bullets.
Saint Francis here, the church here, Saint Francis.
Yeah.
They just bought a stock in Smith and Wesson. That's the gun place stuff out here.
Yeah.
Why are you buying stocks in Smith and Wesson with guns and stuff? Y'all know something we don't know?
Yeah, they know something.
Is there a war about to come that we don't know about? Why is the church making investment in guns?
Church getting ready. Church is getting ready. Right. 13. Brother J. Blakely Bay said that the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, one day every wheel of industry is going to stop, and when they start up again, it will be in the Asiatics' favor. That one there, is suspect because of who said that one. Supreme Grand Advisor and Moderator talking like that. I don't know. The Supreme Grand Advisor and Moderator said the Prophet said something. I'm looking at that one kind of funny. Right? Because when Noble Drew Ali was around, every wheel of industry stopped because everything was in the Asiatics' favor during Noble Drew Ali's time. During Noble Drew Ali's time, everything was in the Asiatics' favor. We had the manufacturing companies, we had the stores, we had the temples, we had the people, all in the same national mindset. We had everything. We had all the politicians. We had Oscar the Priest in office. We had different mayors and all that stuff in different, because Moors put them in there. So that could have been one of those ones, again, put out that fear stuff to try to get the Moors to jump on it. You know, just because they know that Moors' mindset was, you know, very, very passive, and they could probably tell them anything and say the prophet said it, and these Moors are just gonna go jump on it. Now, Moore did say in the chat the Great Depression would be all the industry stopping, which would be way before some supreme grand advisor and moderator. So, but everything didn't go in the Asiatics' favor because these people sold out. You know.
And I'm looking at it like, okay, so, number one, which Asiatics?
Yeah, that too.
We can look and say, you know, China is doing big things right now.
Yeah,
you know, with those Asiatics. You know what I mean? Like there in Africa, they're just taking over. Over there in so-called Africa.
Yeah, that one might be that might be a question mark. That might be a question mark one.
Right.
Yeah.
Over here, they're taking over the railroad system. And, you know, that's trade right there. They already know. Once you take over the railroad system, you end trade. That's major. That's a major takeover. The railroad system.
Yeah. Another more brought up a point in the chat. What if some of the prophecies didn't happen yet?
Yeah, I've been thinking that.
Yep, that's another perspective. Yeah. That's another. See the importance of why there's Moorish unity and Moors being together and thinking together and building together, because, you know, not every Moor knows everything, but every Moor knows something.
Mm-hmm.
Not every Moor knows everything, but every Moor knows something. Every Moor has their own free will that they have to exercise for us to figure out this mess that we're dealing with. We definitely know this one's prophecy. No, go ahead, Moore.
And that leads to every Moor. That leads to us knowing everything.
Yeah.
When all Moors are in unity, bringing their something.
Yeah.
That leads to us knowing it all.
Straight.
Knowing it all.
And then this last one, we'll put this one out, and we know this one is real. Brother J. Blakely Bay said that the Holy Prophet said, if the European be just, he would have an Asiatic vice president. And if they had an Asiatic president, they would have a European vice president. That one manifested, came and gone. People missed it.
Yep.
Looking for Jesus. Waiting for Jesus to come back with five bread and 2 fish. They missed the prophet's prophecy.
They missed the prophecy. They simply just walked past that, man.
They simply just walked past him because they were waiting for Jesus. C. Freeman is the man.
Yeah, he's a man. He's another one that has me up late night studying.
Yeah. C. Freeman will have you up late, yo, for sure. He'll have you up late. 15, Brother J. Blakely Bay said that the Holy Prophet said, in the year 2000, the Moors will come into their own. Yeah, that one there's a good one, because 2000 was pretty crazy. When 2000 hit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Since 2000, Moors have definitely come into their own.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Moors have definitely been a lot more active than passive.
Mm-hmm. C. Freeman L's videos came out in 97.
Yeah.
So you can imagine, 3 years after that, you know what I mean? Everybody was going, he had to.
Yeah, the Moorish paradigms were 90-something too. 90-something.
Oh, yeah. All of that. All of them was going hard for the build-up for 2000. All of them. That's when they were still doing their Moors hard.
Yeah.
Phil Valentine, Moore, everybody knew about the Moors then. Bobby Hemmett, 2000, the lectures was hard body back then.
Yeah.
It wasn't, favoring the audience. Well, I don't want to say that word because I might lose finance. Like, they do that now.
Yeah, that's now stuff. Yeah.
No.
That wasn't happening. That wasn't happening. Straight.
Bobby Hemming let you know. The Moors were the ones that, but now all his students, they don't even mention. Not a peep about Moor, nothing. Black, and the ancient gods, they just missed all the point of us being Moors. That's Moor science. They missed the whole thing.
Islam
And
to
this was during the 2000s.
Yeah.
That they was going hard. You had what's his name?
Yeah, a lot of
you know the
Moors.
what? Oh my goodness.
A lot of Moors came out in 2000.
What's the brother's name? That did the famous lecture that all Moors watch for him say, oh my goodness. Like basically telling the secret. These like the European Masons and Moors, what was, oh goodness, what's the brother's name? Title from back in the day.
That was time.
You got his book too, Moorish Paradigm, I think.
Oh yeah, Hakeem Bey. Yeah.
Hakeem, right.
Yeah, more said it in the
like in the 90s, 2000s.
Yeah, more said it in the chat too, Hakeem. Yeah.
Yep.
Straight.
Going hard. All of those back in the day. That was 2000 was a crazy year.
Yeah, that one was nuts. That was nuts. Yep. Well, Islam to all the Moors everywhere you're at. Give thanks. We'll probably try to get some more of these in sometime this week if time allows. Don't forget, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, MHHS Eyes Wide Open on blogtalkradio.com. Call-in number 319-527-6751. 319-527-6751 and 425-569-5201. 425-569-5201. Peace and love to all the Moors. Brother Yusuf, give thanks.
Islam.
Give thanks.
Give thanks, Francis. Now, give thanks to Canaanland Moors.
Give
all
thanks.
the Moors in the chat, too. Give thanks to the prophet and his prophecies.
Give thanks for the prophet and his prophecies. And give thanks for Allah sending us a most divine being to get us out of the darkness of sin and into the marvelous light of salvation. Peace and love to all the Moors. Don't forget willofalah.com. Don't forget rvbaypublications.com. Don't forget khalifamedia.com. Support everything Moorish that you can. And, as we say, study. And when you finish studying and ask what to study next, study yourself. And don't forget, we are the North. We got our rings today. Because we've been repping. We got the rings today. We got the banner. So all the haters out there. I see you haters always talking BS about we not gonna get nothing this year and can't repeat. When we repeat, don't worry. We'll be right here to wear some more hats. Islam to all the Moors. Peace and love. Islam.